Hello and welcome. What I really love about elections is that the unthinkable happens so often. Even a year ago, if you said this result was going to take place, people would have laughed you out of court. It is a dramatic change in the political landscape of India. And they say a week is a long time in politics. Goodness me, 1 year can change everything. So what happened in this election? It all happened without the Mahagathbandhan. It was really a Congress BJP fight, and not even an alliance with the BSP, which could have changed things dramatically for the Congress. They lost a major opportunity there. However, still a huge swing away from the BJP is the fundamental point. What caused that swing? What were the reasons behind it? That's what we're going to discuss, and what are the implications of it for the 2019 Lok Sabha elections? Well, we just had a look at some of the figures that are coming out, and remember, the results are still not complete. There are so many seats, I think at least 21 in Madhya Pradesh with a margin of less than 1,000 votes. So those could change either way. So it's not the end of the story, but it's still a huge story. And this is some of the reasons that one can glean at first sight as to why this major change has happened within 1 year. Let's have a look at what caused this swing away from the Congress. Well, one of the things we found from the results so far is that BJP has been hurt by demonetization and GST. Why? Why do we say that? What's the evidence? The urban loss has been the highest for the BJP. Just look at the drop in urban seats, the percentage drop. MP, 54% drop in its MPs, in its urban seats in Madhya Pradesh. And in Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, a 41% drop. In Chhattisgarh, it was a huge drop everywhere, so we want, but this were particularly high drops in these two states. What else? Another sort of lesser known factor, and by the way, everywhere we went, people did complain about demonetization and GST in urban areas. The shopkeepers were cribbing like mad, and that obviously got converted into a vote in the swing away from the BJP. The second factor is a decline in the tribal vote, the tribal support for the BJP. Just look at what happened. In the tribal seat, the percentage decline in seats in Rajasthan, 41% of the BJP seats they lost in tribal areas. And Chhattisgarh, very important tribal seats, 35% loss. In Madhya Pradesh, less, but still a 24% loss. So 3 states and 3 big losses in tribal and demonetization. 2 factors that stand out immediately. Now, for those who only believe in opinion polls, think again. And exit polls, many of them were wrong, many of them were also right. But look at other factors, and there were early warning signs for the BJP. Let's have a look at some of those early warning signs. Over the anger over demonetization in Madhya Pradesh, you looked at the municipal elections. Remember, this time, the swing in Madhya Pradesh, BJP so far -3%, Congress +5%. And look what happened in the warning signs in the municipal elections in 2018. BJP -3%, Congress +5%. If you looked at those, you should have got an inclination of what's happening here. Same thing with Rajasthan. Let's have a look at what happened in Rajasthan. Early warning signs were there. And there were 2 particularly strong signs. One was, well, this time there's been a swing to Congress of 7%. But look what happened in the by-elections in February 2018. Congress defeats BJP. The swing against the Congress was about 7%. The swing for the Congress was about 7% against the BJP. But those by-elections were an early warning sign. Panchayat elections in 2017 and 2018, the Congress defeated the BJP. We tend to underestimate these real voter warnings, and we look at sample sizes and exit polls and opinion polls, but there's out there. We don't look at municipal and panchayat and local body elections enough as signs of change. Now finally, if those were signs of change for this assembly elections, are these a sign of change for the Lok Sabha election? This is the possible impact. We've noticed in the last 3 big elections, the party winning in the Vidhan Sabha does even better in the Lok Sabha. Let's have a look in Rajasthan. if the previous pattern holds, the actual seats that the BJP won in 2014 was 25 out of 25. But this result, if it holds the same pattern as it did in the last 3 Lok Sabha elections preceded by assembly elections, it would go down from 25 to 8 seats. The BJP loss would be 17 in Rajasthan. What about Madhya Pradesh? It would go down from 27 to 10, again minus 17. That's just a coincidence, of course. And in Chhattisgarh, if this was repeated in a few months from now, it would go down by 10%. Now, the health warning here is that, so a total from 62 Lok Sabha seats held in these 3 states alone, the BJP would drop to just 18 in the 2019 projection, a drop of 44 seats. That's well over halfway, half the seats they would lose. Now, this, the caveat, the health warning is that this is what happened in all the previous 3 Lok Sabha elections. Will it happen again? Will something intervene? Will something change? Will there be a surgical strike? Or, well, you know better than I do, all kinds of things can happen. But, you know, as you get closer to an election, voters discount anything you do. They think you're doing it because of elections. So it's a little late for anything to happen, for really to have an impact on elections. So that's the best guess so far. Sir, do you believe in all these numbers and projections? Or is there a message behind this?
I don't believe in the numbers, but I believe the slide has come.
The slide has come.
Yes,
Right.
there's no doubt about it.
Right. I think this is just trying to find out reasons. One was demonetization, and the other
Farmers'
is
plight. We
yes.
forget
We've
farmers'
got
plight.
another
Unemployment,
right.
very much there.
Actually, I'll just show you. In fact, let's just have a look at the figures on farmers' distress, and that we've looked particularly in Rajasthan. We didn't have enough time to look at other areas, but let's have a look at farmers' distress evidence, and that the Jats very unusually have swung away from the BJP. Remember, Atal Bihari Vajpayee gave them OBC status and reservations, and they've been solidly BJP till now, since Mr. Vajpayee. And this time, the drop in Jat seats, 58% in Rajasthan. They've swung away. And that could be worrying for the BJP as Jats spread across more states than just Rajasthan. And one final effect, but this won't have a ripple effect in other states, are the Gujars. Let's have a look at what happened to the Gujars. That's the Sachin pilot effect. The Gujars just deserted the BJP. The drop in Gujar seats of the BJP, 61%. Now these are huge changes, and they're basically the underlying reason why the BJP has done badly, and are early warning signs for what could happen in 2019.
In fact, it'll also be interesting to get the data for the SC seats, because you did ST,
Yes.
and you showed there was a big drop
SC
there.
seats not so much.
SC seats not so much. So
yeah.
interesting, because
There's
there
a
was
drop,
a sense
but
that
not
there
so
was
much.
Dalit anger,
Yeah.
but not so much.
Yeah.
Prannoy, if we can just go across now to, because we've got some big newsmakers on the show tonight, and one of them is, again, one of the men of the match, because we have several men of the match tonight, and that is Bhupesh Baghel, who's the Congress president in Chhattisgarh, and also one of its chief ministerial candidates. Mr. Baghel, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and congratulations to you, straight off the bat. Now,
जी नमस्कार, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया।
जी
नमस्कार जी, नमस्कार।
भूपेश जी, आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई हो। ये बताइए कि ये जो एक्चुअल जो छत्तीसगढ़ की विक्ट्री थी, ये खासकर ऐसी थी कि मतलब सब इससे चौंक गए, बिकॉज मध्य प्रदेश में सोचा जा रहा था कि कांग्रेस निकाल लेगी, राजस्थान में निकाल लेगी, लेकिन छत्तीसगढ़ में ऐसे आंकड़ा निकलेगा। क्या आपको इसका पहले से ही आसार था?
जी हाँ, हम लोग 2014 लोकसभा चुनाव के बाद से लगातार संगठन में काम किया, और संगठन के माध्यम से जनता से जुड़े हुए जितने भी मुद्दे थे, चाहे गरीबों के चावल का मुद्दा हो, चाहे किसानों के धान खरीदी का मामला हो, चाहे आउटसोर्सिंग का मामला हो, चाहे महिलाओं से जुड़े हुए जो नसबंदी कांड है वो हो, चाहे पंचायती राज का मामला हो, आदिवासी से जुड़े हुए जितने मुद्दे थे, उन सबको हम इस संगठन के माध्यम से लड़ाई लड़े। चाहे वो नोटबंदी का भी और जीएसटी और व्यापारियों के मुद्दे के लेकर भी हम लोग लड़ाई लड़ते रहे। और इस कारण से हुआ ये कि हम नगरीय निकाय चुनाव जीते, पंचायती राज चुनाव जीते और सहकारिता के भी चुनाव हम लोग जीते और अब जबरदस्त रूप से विधानसभा चुनाव जीते।
तो क्या हम आपको छत्तीसगढ़ के अगले मुख्यमंत्री के हैसियत से आपको बधाई दे सकते हैं?
जी, ये डिक्लेयर हमारे हाईकमान करेंगे, विधायक दल की बैठक होगी, उसके बाद कौन मुख्यमंत्री बनेगा वो तय होगा, तो जो बनेगा उसको दीजिएगा।
लेकिन अगर आपको देते हैं आपको कोई इतराज तो नहीं है?
जो जिम्मेदारी हाईकमान दे वो कर रहे हैं। प्रदेशाध्यक्ष के रूप में 5 साल ये दूसरा कार्यकाल है मेरा। हाईकमान यदि जिम्मेदारी देते हैं तो निश्चित रूप से वो जो जितने वादे हैं छत्तीसगढ़ के लिए वो पूरा करेंगे।
So, Mr. Baghel, I remember, I don't know if you're with Prannoy Roy here, I interviewed you during the campaign at one of the speeches that Mr. Rahul Gandhi was giving, and we spoke in the crowd. And you were, remember that? So, I'm lucky for you, sir. Anybody who gives interviews to NDTV wins, have you noticed? and who don't lose. Hint, hint. Okay. Sir, but you were not that sure that time.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आपने याद रखा है छत्तीसगढ़ यात्रा को।
Right, sir. You won. I was going to ask you what are the reasons you won, but I've told you the reason actually.
Take an
But
exclusive bug.
at that time, you were not this sure that you would do so well. So, what was the reason that this sweep happened? One or two key reasons why you swept Chhattisgarh.
पहली बात तो है कि हमने संगठन को मजबूत किया और दूसरा जनता से जुड़ने का काम किया। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी है वो कुछ अधिकारियों से मिलकर वो जनता से दूर जाने वाले निर्णय लेते रहे और जनता में अलोकप्रिय होते रहे। और प्रशासन शासन का दुरुपयोग है वो विरोधियों को निपटाने और प्रताड़ित करने के लिए करते रहे और ये हार का बड़ा कारण बना।
राइट। तो भूपेश जी ये बताइए कि हर जगह हम देखते हैं कि कांग्रेस के जो बड़े नेता हैं गुटबाजी के वजह से ऑफन कांग्रेस सेल्फ गोल कर देती है। जैसे मध्य प्रदेश में भी वो आंकड़े तक नहीं पहुंच पाए, हो सकता है गुटबाजी की भी वजह हो सकती है, राजस्थान में भी। लेकिन आप छत्तीसगढ़ की फॉर्मूला बताइए। आप और टी सिंहदेव साहब के बीच में गुटबाजी तो थी, ये तो सब जानते हैं, लेकिन कैसे आपने आपस में एक तालमेल बना लिया कि वहां आपका लैंडस्लाइड हो गया?
हमारे बीच में कोई गुटबाजी नहीं रही जी। वहां जो गुटबाजी करने वाले थे जोगी जी, वो पहले ही पार्टी छोड़ गए थे। और आपको याद होगा कि उनके नेतृत्व में 2003 का चुनाव लड़े, 8 का चुनाव लड़े, 2013 में साथ रहे। तो जब तक के कांग्रेस के साथ रहे वो कांग्रेस हारती रही है। और जैसे उन्होंने अलग पार्टी बनाई और रमन सिंह के साथ जुड़े, वो फिर रमन सिंह को भी ले डूबे। हम तो डूबेंगे सनम, तुम्हें भी ले डूबेंगे। तो वो बड़ा कारण रहा। जो गुटबाजी करने वाले लोग हैं वो कांग्रेस पार्टी से बाहर हो गए।
जी शेखर।
बघेल जी, जो रमन सिंह जी थे वो भी बड़े पोलाइट किस्म के इंसान थे, बड़े शालीन थे और काफ़ी उन्होंने स्कीम भी बनाई, योजनाएं जिनसे गरीबों को काफ़ी कुछ मदद मिली। ये आप क्या सोचते हैं कि सबसे बड़ा सेटबैक किस बात का हुआ, या फिर आपको अब डबल खजाना खाली करना पड़ेगा अपने वोटर्स को खुश करने के लिए? अगर ऐसे करेंगे तो आपके राज्य का बुरा हाल हो जाएगा।
15 साल के राज में रमन सिंह जी कोई उपलब्धि नहीं बता सकते हैं। किसी वर्ग के जीवन स्तर सुधरा हो, चाहे शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में हो, स्वास्थ्य के क्षेत्र में हो, चाहे ट्राइबल इलाके हो, चाहे अनुसूचित क्षेत्र हो, चाहे किसानों के की स्थिति हो, ऐसा कोई ये नहीं है जिसमें उन्होंने कोई प्रभावशाली कोई निर्णय लिए हों, कार्यक्रम किए हों। वो हमारे गुटबाजी के कारण से हारते रहे, हम लोग हारते रहे और वो जीतते रहे। और जहां तक के रमन सिंह का जो चेहरा है जरूर सौम्य दिखता है, सरल दिखता है, लेकिन जितने भ्रष्टाचार उन्होंने किए, काले कारनामे किए, पूरे परिवार के साथ छत्तीसगढ़ को लूटने का काम किया है, वो हम लोग उजागर करने में सफल रहे। और यही कारण है कि रमन सिंह जी अभी भी जीतने के लिए संघर्ष कर रहे हैं।
तो भूपेश जी आपने
अपनी
लेकिन
सीट बचाने के लिए संघर्ष कर रहे हैं।
राइट भूपेश जी आपने लेकिन शेखर का डायरेक्ट सवाल जो था उसका जवाब नहीं दिया, क्योंकि रमन सिंह ने जिन्होंने जो किया नहीं किया वो अलग बात है। आपने अपने घोषणा पत्र में बड़े बड़े प्रॉमिस किए हैं। आपने एमएसपी कहा है आप देंगे, पैडी का 2500 रुपए बढ़ाकर देंगे, आप कर्जा माफी करेंगे, ये सब आप कर पाएंगे?
वोट आप छापेंगे फिर?
जी,
इसके कहां से कैसे करेंगे, पैसे कहां से आएंगे?
निश्चित रूप देखिए, छत्तीसगढ़ में पैसे की कोई कमी नहीं है। अभी 92,000 करोड़ का बजट है। यहाँ की जनसंख्या 2.25 करोड़ है
जी।
मध्य प्रदेश या उत्तर प्रदेश या बंगाल से आप तुलना करेंगे तो हमसे 1.5 गुना ही बजट है
जी।
या उत्तर प्रदेश में 2 गुना बजट होगा, 2.5 गुना बजट होगा। लेकिन मध्य प्रदेश और बंगाल है हमसे 1.5 गुना बजट है और हमसे जनसंख्या 3 गुना अधिक है, 2 गुना 3 गुना अधिक है। तो हमको ये मीट आउट करने में कोई परेशानी नहीं है कि हम किसानों के ऋण माफी भी करेंगे और 2500 रुपये क्विंटल में धान भी खरीदेंगे, बिजली बिल आधा भी करेंगे। तो यहाँ के लोगों को सुविधा देने में हमारे बजट में पैसे कभी आड़े नहीं आएगा।
Right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. And many congratulations once again.
बहुत-बहुत बधाई, बहुत-बहुत बधाई।
धन्यवाद।
Amitabh, you've been working in Chhattisgarh, and a couple of things we were told. There was one, we've got 3 candidates from the Congress as usual vying to be chief minister. So the talk went around, and you can tell me if this is true or not, that the party went up to each one of them and said, if you are not going to be chief minister, who are of the other 2 would you recommend? And each one gave the same answer. If it's not me, let it be Raman Singh.
I haven't heard this. And as someone who's formally affiliated with the Congress party, I'm not going to comment on this either.
Okay, the second point is that voters are very demanding for action. One of the leaders we met on not in Chhattisgarh, in other states, we said, look, what's your plan if you become chief minister? He said, no, I can't think of a plan now. We're going to fight the 2019 elections, then I'll think of a plan. Is that going to happen here, or are you going to hit the ground running?
No, I think very much the ground will be hit running.
Before the 2019 elections?
Before the 2019. When we launched the manifesto in Rajasthan, Congress president himself said that this is a commitment the party is making and it will implement this. Whoever the chief minister is, this is the party's commitment to you. And internally we've already begun thinking about implementation issues, whoever the chief minister will be. So I think in the immediate promises are going to be loan waiver, agricultural prices, and what you might term the more populist and parts of it, and that will certainly hopefully have an impact on 2019. But that's not the whole story by any means.
But there is a plan.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, because if you don't do it, you can't say I can wait 6-8 months now. Voters don't wait for that.
Also, for Chhattisgarh's revenues to fetch up, mining will have to resume. A lot of the industrial activity which has been stuck or which has been stopped for various reasons, that will have to resume. And also, Naxalism, armed Naxalism will have to be controlled more strongly than it's been done so far.
Right. But you remember what KCR told us when we said, all these handouts, you're going to go into deep debt. He said, debt? Talking to me about debt? Which countries have much more debt than us?
He said bakwas.
America, bakwas. America, China, look at their debt, then talk to me about debt. So debt is not a problem. Sagrika, I wanted to ask you that these are just very quick calculations, but minus 44 seats out of 62 for the Lok Sabha. That doesn't include what's going to happen in UP if there's a tie-up between Akhilesh and Mayawati. Minus 44, and I generally believe that tends to be a swing which is uniform across Hindi land. It won't affect things in Andhra, but UP is going to have the same negative swing. Huge implication then, minus 44. What can be done by the BJP to reverse that?
Prannoy, I think that, I think what has happened is it's a big day for the Congress. And I think the invincibility of the Modi-Shah juggernaut, which dominated the political discourse, has been slightly shattered. They have had this huge fall in support and you know the swing away from them. So I think there's going to have to be a new narrative. And as we were talking in the morning, these are agrarian states. 70% agrarian.
Right.
Unlike Gujarat, which was urban. Now, the thing is, Mr. Modi has been focusing on agrarian. He's been putting toilet yojana, Swachh, Awas yojana, gas yojana, houses, physical assets, roads. Now, the thing is, if you're putting all this into the rural areas, but still it's not giving you the support that you want, then obviously something is going very wrong with your rural outreach. And there, I think, will he go in for a new deal with the rural areas? Will there be a change in narrative? Because if this is the case here, where there is not really a united opposition, frankly, the Congress is disorganized, it's moribund. We can see in Rajasthan how it was split, it was factionalized. So it could not mount a challenge. Now in UP, Mr. Modi is going to be, the BJP is going to be up against a rooted BSP-SP alliance if that happens.
Very
and that's
different.
going to be a real challenge.
Yeah.
Bihar will be an uphill task. So, in fact, the 210 seats that the BJP won in 2014.
He wants to reply to you. But
BJP won 192 out of 210 seats in the Hindi belt. Now, can they replicate that with this kind of
44
result?
out of 62 is
and
a
44 is a huge swing
loss.
away.
May not happen 44, but it could be somewhere between 35 and 45. It's a big loss.
But the loss of the
I have a very
rural...
more than adequate answer.
Yes,
to that.
yes.
If you look at the voting percentage in Madhya Pradesh, BJP is 43 and Congress is 42. And in Rajasthan also they are neck to neck in terms of vote percentage, which clearly shows the seats won by Congress are by narrow margin, and the one which are won by the BJP of a higher margin, which will remain in the higher margins, which I believe will remain intact for 2019, and there will be possible swing in the low margin seats. So that's one area where you have to concentrate.
You are becoming a psephologist. I'm
Yeah,
very
I
worried
noticed
about
that.
this.
No, I have a physics background, so I do.
So that's easy for you.
These mathematics,
Right.
it's very easy for me to do. And secondly, if you look at BJP's and Mr. Modi's goodwill, even prior to the voting was clearly intact in terms of vote percentage. One thing where I think BJP should have done was, continuing the same people for 3 times is something which has led to a leadership vacuum in those states. No fresh faces have come up.
No second round.
Second run, and they should have come to the center, and they would have, which is where the Congress is scoring.
I
So
see.
that is where they should have thought about it, brought these senior leaders to the center and allowed the new leadership to develop there.
Can I just make one more point? I just think that the BJP in Madhya Pradesh has mandalized itself. It's gone in for the OBC leadership. The Congress remains the upper caste, Rajputs, Singhs, Thakurs. It's the BJP that has mandalized itself through Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Uma Bharti, Babulal Gaur. These are the OBC leaders. Now, are we looking at a situation where the traditional vote bank of the Congress, which was the STs and the SCs and the OBC, are coming back to the Congress and actually deserting the BJP because of the massive rural distress and dislocation? So is the mandalization of the BJP actually no longer working?
Well, in the SC seats, Prannoy just said, the BJP hasn't done that badly.
Yeah,
ST
it's
has
dropped
done
about
badly.
25%,
It's
but
dropped.
not
SC
like
it's
this
not
40,
done that badly.
50%.
But ST
ST is a huge
yes,
drop.
STs
they've
are
done
huge. So
badly.
there the RSS has been very active in the ST, the Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram and the Eklavya
Yeah.
Vidyalayas and all that.
Yes.
So are the STs coming
There's a
back
change.
to the Congress? I think that's
the
interesting.
point,
Yeah.
Just to the point about the Congress and this whole question of caste and its leadership, CP Joshi, senior Congress leader from Rajasthan, is joining us. Mr. Joshi, thanks for talking to us. Before we come to the Rajasthan results and where we stand, Shaina NC is also with us. Shaina, we can see you. CP Joshi, just wanted to ask you about that comment you made about Brahmins really being the ones who best understand Hinduism, for which, you were reprimanded by the Congress president. Tell us about that. Is that also going to be part of the Congress narrative? You may talk about demonetization, you may talk about jobs, but also this business of trying to out-Hindu the BJP.
I'm happy that you have raised this issue. You see, I have spoken for more than 45 minutes in an election meeting. Unfortunately, they took 30 seconds video and propagated it. You have to understand that entire speech will have to be in the context which I have given the speech. This is unfortunate that BJP is using such tactics to give wrong signal to the society. I'm shocked that being a responsible political party, they have to behave in a responsible manner. I never said this thing, but a true Congress soldier, I have to abide by the feeling of my leader and my worker, and that's why I said what my leader expected from me.
But you mean to say you never at all indicated that, that Brahmins have some greater insight into Hinduism? Surely, I mean, we heard the clip. You did, there were words to that effect.
I said you have to understand the entire Hindutva in the context that we have history. Then we have to understand this thing that this is the feeling of the people. And unfortunately, that one of the important characteristics of Hinduism is that tolerance. Why the intolerance is being introduced in our society? Somebody will have to look into this. In that context, as a political activist, it is my responsibility to educate the voter. That's all.
Okay, Mr. C.P. Joshi,
Right.
may I ask you, are you in the running for Chief Minister of Rajasthan? And if you're not, which of the other two would you recommend?
I said it's not my job.
No, who do you think would be better?
I said it's not my. It's prerogative of they will decide after considering the opinion of the elected member. I'm not competent to give reply to comparison.
But
At least two you can recommend, Mr. Joshi.
but
Who do you recommend? We won't hold you to it.
I said our ultimate aim is to win 2019 election. In that perspective, the High Command will decide it.
But who's a better
But do you think that it's time to give younger generation a chance now?
I said first and foremost priority is to win 2019 election. So we have to take entire facts into consideration while deciding this issue.
So, Shaina, thank you very much for joining us. Again, the worry for the BJP in the
Yes,
numbers.
I've been waiting for only 40 minutes.
No, but we waited. I think it was Rahul Gandhi which also kept you. So we tried to ask him to finish in time for us, but he didn't do that.
No problem.
Okay, the worrying factors for the BJP and the results that we've come in so far is one, farmers' distress. We've seen Jats moving away from the BJP, traditional BJP supporters. That's one, farmers' distress. Then urban areas, we saw a huge drop in BJP seats in urban areas, and whenever we went around, demonetization and GST are big complaints. How are you going to get around just these two? These have been around for 2 years, difficult to turn them around in the next 3-4 months.
Well, at the outset, let me please say that Madhya Pradesh, if you look at the reports even now, we're hardly 2 to 3 seats away. It's important to understand, and you would understand this more than anybody else, that there are over 30 seats where the difference is only 1,000 votes, and in counting and recounting those numbers can change too. There are over 74 seats where the difference is only 2,000 votes. So that's for starters, just announcing that we may or may not be victorious. That is for the people of this country to decide. But to rubbish it off and suggest that, oh, we have lost the Hindi heartland, I think would be a very harsh sentence. After 15 years, this kind of a performance and this kind of a fight back shows you that the people are still with us. And if you look at the vote share, in most states, it is pretty much intact. So I would only want to say for all these over-enthusiastic,
that's factually not right.
opportunistic,
no, sorry, I have to interrupt. Your vote is not intact. It has come down. I'm not saying you've lost the Hindi heartland.
12%.
Yeah, it's come down substantially, but it was very high. So it's not like you've. But the vote has not intact. Anyway, carry on. By the way, one more thing I want to say: these narrow margins are common in every election.
I just want to make a limited point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I do understand that there is a narrower margin in assembly elections, but what I'm saying in terms of intact is The die-hard BJP voter clearly wants Prime Minister Modi to continue because of his good governance, stability, progressive policies. So what you're going to see in 2019 is not going to be an impression of just this general election, which you believe is a mandate of people. 6 months down, people will realize, and I'm sure that they realize even now, that the parameters for an assembly election and a parliamentary election are completely different. My limited point is that, you know, all this talk about losing in the Hindi heartland, look at the fight we've given in Rajasthan, where people were thinking we won't even get 50 seats, and here we're at 75 almost. If you take Madhya Pradesh, as I said, by the time you have the counting, this is the first time you've had an election where we all started at 6 in the morning today, and we're still contemplating as to who's going to be in a position to form the government in Madhya Pradesh. So that in itself shows you that this is not a direct mandate to say that we have done wrong. You talk about agrarian crisis, but what is the major takeaway from this? Farmers who are only growing wheat, rice and sugar obviously need to think of other opportunities as well, and that's why our Prime Minister has constantly talked about one drop per crop, better infrastructure, better technology use, solar pumps, Jan Dhan schemes, insurance schemes, pension schemes. Yes, we have given loan waivers in states, but obviously there is more that the farmer wants, and we will continue to endeavor in that direction.
Shaina, your party has been in power for 4.5 years now, and the rate of agricultural growth in the country in these 4 years has been exactly a half of what it was under UPA's 10 years. So there is a failure there. Just because you have this Yojana, that Yojana, this Yojana, that Yojana, it doesn't work. And in a cabinet, let me remind you, where we've had four law ministers, 4 railway ministers, 4 defense ministers, all kinds of ministers have changed. The one minister who's held his charge right through is the agriculture minister. And one reason this country has this terrible agricultural distress is because of bad agricultural policy, because change has not taken place, technology has not been adopted. You can't just keep throwing money at it. I mean, I would say that your party is getting just desserts, and how can you fix it in the next 6 months?
And in fact, sorry, just to add to that, to the point about, you talked about wheat and rice and sugar. Actually, crops across the board are, farmers who grow crops across the board are in distress. Garlic farmers are in distress, soy farmers are in distress, vegetable farmers are in distress. So it's across the board. It's not just, you know, the PDS farmers.
It's a policy failure.
Okay, I just have 2 points. Can I just
yes, go ahead.
Shekhar
No,
talked
uninterrupted,
about demonetization.
Go ahead.
Dr. Roy talked about no, not uninterrupted, but you welcome to interrupt. We're happy to listen and take concrete suggestions too. But the point is that you talked about
Sorry, we have to interrupt. We're going to Vasundhara. Just a second, we come right back to you.
मुझे आशा है कि ये काम और ये योजना जो हम लोगों ने चलाए थे, उनको आगे ले जाने का काम आने वाली सरकार करेगी। मैं सब प्रदेशवासियों को विश्वास दिलाना चाहती हूं कि हम उनकी आवाज बनकर विधानसभा के अंदर बैठेंगे, उनकी बातों को उठाने का काम करेंगे। साथ में जो भी सकारात्मक काम है जनहित के लिए, उनको भी उठाने का काम करेंगे। मैं सब प्रदेशवासियों का आभार जताना चाहती हूं जिन्होंने परिवार अपने आप को समझकर हम सबका साथ दिया, और मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सभी कार्यकर्ता, सभी पदाधिकारियों को धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूं, क्योंकि उन्होंने अथक परिश्रम करके, मेहनत करके पूरी तरह से इस चुनाव में भाग लिया। इसके साथ साथ मैं आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, आदरणीय राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी और हमारे केंद्रीय नेतृत्व, साथ में हमारे प्रदेश अध्यक्ष और हमारे सब कार्यकर्ताओं को मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूं, जिन्होंने हम सबका मार्गदर्शन भी किया और हमारा साथ भी दिया। और मैं आप लोगों सबको धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूं कि आप लोगों ने भी पूरी तरह से इन चुनावों के अंदर अपने रिपोर्टिंग के अंदर हम लोग सबका साथ दिया, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत आप सबको भी धन्यवाद।
क्या वजह लगता है आपको क्यों
नाउ डन, दैट इज इट। आगे
Now done, that is it. Yeah.
Proud of our democracy, that the vote comes in, the loser concedes defeat, the winner takes charge.
It's wonderful, actually.
It's a great principle of liberal democracy.
Sir, but you've seen all this come and go. Both of us about the same vintage.
Pardon me?
Both of us are about the same vintage.
He's much younger than you. What are you talking about?
You see, the question is, it's not how old you are, how young you think.
Correct.
That is what matters. And these results that you see are basically failure of the government, failure of the central government and the failure of the state governments. Task is not over. Let's be frank about it. Those who have won, 6 months they have to prove what they have told the electorate. Otherwise, the loss will be far greater. And the whole nation will watch whether they have moved in that path. See, not only farmers, not only the youth that is unemployed, we have to work on industry also, because industry is the one that employs. It's not the government that employs. So somehow you have to bring the industry back on the roll. Now if you look at what today, if you see even in Delhi, you see these huge buildings not completed, empty. People are unable to even take charge of what they have paid for. So, where is the employment? In the building sector, massive employment, completely silent. Now, all this we have to show the governments that are going to come and the opposition unity that has taken place have to show that they mean to change India's direction.
But
India's direction. You see, one thing which we all forget, 4.5 years, they didn't use Ram's name. Bhagwan Ram was forgotten. They didn't say a thing about temple has to be made, moves have to be made, nothing. As soon as the election came, they got their leaders, Ram Mandir.
Does this worry you? Is this a qualitative change that you...
You see, the question is how they use God and did not talk as to what are they going to do for the farmers, what are they going to do for the youth that is unemployed, what is the situation of the nation as such, in the rupee dropping heavily down, all these things, they didn't talk. Tell me of one place where they must have said that we are going to move in this direction. And when they saw the slide coming, they noticed the slide coming. Prannoy, they noticed the slide coming. And that is when they brought God.
Farooq sir, but can I just ask you that, because you've been someone who is very much part of these attempts to cobble together a sort of a Mahagathbandhan or an opposition to the BJP, after these elections, do you think that the Congress emerges as a more credible magnet
Obviously,
for the anti-BJP parties?
You see, it has
because
shown.
Some are still not convinced.
You see, people may not become, but it has shown that there is a swing towards them. That is there. Don't count that there's so many votes here and so many votes there. The mood of the nation has changed. Let's not forget that. Mood has changed. Whether now the opposition will work on that mood is the most important factor, and it starts now, not tomorrow. It starts now.
Kumar Ketkar, very telling remarks by Farooq Abdullah. But the Congress is known, as Vasu said, for self-goals. It should be the Congress brackets SG, self-goal. So which self-goals are you planning?
Well, many self-goals we will plan.
You will
unplanned goals also we will make. That's not the issue. I think self-goals is not the question. I think generalizations while interpreting this election or these election results can be also damaging, and that can prove to be a self-goal by default. For instance, when we say unemployment and demonetization, there was demonetization in Uttar Pradesh. You were there in Uttar Pradesh. I went to Uttar Pradesh in assembly election. They got 325 seats, which no opinion. There was demonetization 6 months before.
No, I made it very clear that that was a result of a divided opposition vote. It was divide and rule,
not
an increase in popularity.
No, it was not much divided. Anyway, it was not much divided.
There was discontent.
Mayawati was there and Akhilesh and Congress were together. Anyway,
even
if they were divided,
right.
Even if they were divided, 325 is not the number which anybody thought will come to UP after demonetization. I went to so many weavers and farmers in UP, and everybody was very angry with demonetization, and ultimately the vote came to them. Right. And not only there, even in Karnataka, they got 104 seats, which is not a small number.
So what's gone wrong?
So
what's gone wrong now?
No, therefore to say that demonetization, agricultural distress, unemployment are the reasons for this crisis or for this voting pattern, I think they are necessary but not complete generalization.
So what is
according to me, it is still very much in the womb, and I don't think Congress as a party has been converted into an election machine, and therefore we are seeing Madhya Pradesh, there is not a good result. Rajasthan, there is not a good result. It is encouraging result, doesn't mean it is a good result. It could have been good. Going by the discontent in Rajasthan, which I saw, going by the discontent in Madhya Pradesh, which I saw, the vote should have been very clearly on their side. It is not clearly on their side. Therefore, it shows that even if there is a discontent, even if there is disillusionment, that does not automatically or necessarily get
translated. The only person I've seen who wins elections said I've done badly.
No, from the Congress.
I'm saying about it. And I don't know.
Very frank, yeah.
I'm not a spokesperson of the Congress, so I can say.
That's fine.
We are positioning you as a spokesperson of the Congress party, so now don't.
I belong to Congress party. I'm a Rajya Sabha member of the Congress party. That doesn't make me a spokesperson.
So who do you blame for this then?
I don't blame anybody. I'm saying
for the fact that hold on. When you say that the Congress party does not have an election machine, it could have done much better. You're not happy with what happened in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Someone has to take the blame for it. Who?
No, I don't think somebody or someone has to take the blame.
Why not?
No. See, Rahul Gandhi has become president only for 1 year. He has just started. And for the first time we see the people around him working on data analysis, working for organization building. For the first time, Congress is working on the booth management. I don't remember Congress. I was a journalist. I was never a member of the Congress party also. And I have not seen any booth management, any organizational structure. It always depended on the local district satrap and a statewide satrap. His popularity, his ability to get votes, his ability to get money, his ability to get muscle power, that was the content of the Congress party organization. Rahul is changing that radically, and that I think is important. That may help.
Okay.
You forgot to follow up with Shaina on your question.
Because Vasundhara came in the middle.
Yeah, okay. You want to quickly do it and then we'll go for a break.
So, Shaina, the question that I had asked you about agriculture, that this is a policy failure. You cannot fix it in 6 months by throwing more money at it. So, what kind of introspection will this lead to? Because all these yojanas, all these announcements mean nothing because the farmer is angry.
So, Shekharji, that's exactly what we said. I mean, you've had previous governments that have only given freebies, subsidies, SOPs. I'm not saying that we have not given loan waivers, even in Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, etc., for that matter, even in Maharashtra. But the point is, the long-term solution is only if you empower the lives of the farmers, and that's why the Prime Minister has constantly talked about 1 drop per crop, better fertilizers, of course, use of technology.
But these are
you may
all
believe
slogans.
That the yojanas, whether it's
Shaina,
Jandhan, Mudra. No.
I can interrupt you. These are all ideas.
I'll just.
But you've been around 5 years now.
Well, obviously, the kind of questions that are being raised by the farmer community today are those which everybody in the entire agricultural sector would say, yes, we need overnight solutions for, but there aren't no overnight solutions. The fact that we've done away with middlemen at mandis and talked about MSP, all of these are steps in the positive right direction. And the other question you raised vis-a-vis demonetization, I would only like to say, post demonetization, you had Uttar Pradesh as an election where people showed you that they're not voting on the basis of caste, creed, community. You had Dalits and Muslims alike choosing our party and our leadership purely for the good governance and developmental politics. So I think that just to believe that, you know, the BJP is wiped out would be a very, very easy explanation. But the fact is, after 15 years, giving this type of fight only shows you we're not wiped out. And here we are to stay, because this is a fight to the finish. And yes, we will introspect where we need to. We will absolutely not shudder a minute or waste a minute of time from now up until 2019, and even with our vision plan for 2022. So for those who are getting over excited about this victory, I would only want to say, hold your horses. The electorate is very, very intelligent, and they know when to vote for whom, whether it's an assembly election or a parliamentary election.
Right. Thank you very much.
And especially when it comes to a prime minister.
Right. Thank you very much, Anna. We're going to take a quick break and come back in just a second. I'm getting shouted in my ear for the last 10 minutes. So quick break. See you in a moment from now.
Welcome back. The big semi-finals ahead of 2019. What does it signal for the big contest next year? Let's go across straight to yet another one of our special guests. Shashi Tharoor, Congress leader and MP, joins us. Thanks very much, Shashi, for being here on the show with us. We've all got our dictionaries ready, by the way, so feel free to take wing. But sorry, jokes apart.
I'll give you simple words like thumping and resounding instead.
Right. So, Shashi Tharoor, you know, there's a glass half empty argument to be made with these results and a glass half full. So, the glass half empty argument is that you could have done much better. Madhya Pradesh certainly was a state for the taking. You didn't have to take it so fine. Glass half full, of course, is that you are within a shooting distance of making it a 3-0 win in the Hindi heartland. Which one are you going to choose?
Obviously the latter, and I think it's much more than half full, Prannoy, because I think if even a couple of months ago we had been offered a straightforward 3-0 result, we would have been absolutely over the moon. I think partially some of this anticlimax coming out of your discussions is because of the heightened expectations as a result of a very effective campaign led by Rahul Gandhi for the Congress. I think that in fact 3 states in the Hindi heartland is more than we could have dared hope for. Some of the optimistic predictions are saying we'll win Rajasthan, we'll win one of the other 2. Now it looks like we won all 3. Right. And I must say that it's a very clear message to Mr. Modi and the BJP from the voters of the Hindi heartland. And I believe the same message will resonate in other states across the country.
Shashi, that was actually Vasu Sreenivasan Jain, but I'm now going to hand over to the real deal, Prannoy.
Thank you very much, Shashi. I was quite flattered by that, being mistaken for Vasu. But do you understand, or do you think there is a difference between a local leader and the oratory and the grip that a Prime Minister like Mr. Modi has on the people, and will that make a difference in the Lok Sabha election, and how will you tackle that?
Look, we certainly don't doubt that he's a very fine orator, very impressive orator, but we certainly have also seen that people have begun to see through his oratory. There's a sense that you can be very impressed by his speech, you can believe the conviction of the speaker. But when it turns out the promises he makes are actually empty promises, that the commitments are not being delivered upon, that the package he sells you is empty, how many times will you pay for an empty package? I think any young person in the Hindi heartland who expected that crores of jobs would be tumbling out of the BJP government thanks to Mr. Modi's soaring oratory, and who still doesn't have a job, has no reason to vote for Mr. Modi 5 years later. I think any farmer who has bought into the soaring oratory but is suffering horrendous problems, especially when crops fail, and debts are horrendous, prices are dropping out of the bottom of the market, at that point, the farmer isn't going to be impressed by a speech. He's going to worry about who's going to waive his debts, who's going to give him a decent life.
Right.
I think the BJP has failed on all fronts, and this is precisely what the voters have woken up to.
Okay, but Shashi, let me just ask you, something about, and this is absolutely the last question to you. Since you're an evangelist for this Congress's Hinduer than thou repositioning that we're seeing, we had someone on one of our shows earlier on who said that this has actually helped the Congress in this election. The fact that it's, in a sense, batting out of the crease when it comes to playing the Hindu card. Would you agree?
Well, there's a difference between Hinduism and Hindutva, and we're hammering away at that. We're stressing that we are, many of us are Hindu, just as we have very many good Muslims and good Christians in our ranks as well, and good Parsis and good Sikhs for that matter. The point is that we are free to practice our own faiths. We certainly don't want to cede to the BJP a monopoly of claiming to speak for true Hindu beliefs and Hindu interests. What we are saying is that we are good Hindus, but Hindutva is actually anti-Hindu, because it actually is a political doctrine that fundamentally moves away from the inclusive nature of Hinduism. That inclusiveness is part of the Congress's DNA. It was there during the freedom struggle,
right,
when the Congress rejected the idea of Pakistan, rejected the idea that religion should be the determinant of nationhood, and it remains part of the Congress's fundamental approach to these elections and to any future elections, that we want to neutralize the BJP's false claim that they are the only authentic voice for the interests of Hindu voters. We stand for everyone, Hindus and others.
Shashi Tharoor, thank you very much indeed. I know you're in a hurry. Thank you very much for taking the time out to chat with us. Now, we go to one of the man of the match, one of the men of the match, Sachin Pilot. Welcome, Sachin Pilot, and many, many congratulations. I think this question Vasu just asked, that glass half full, glass half empty. Are you satisfied with this result? Are you happy with it?
I think it's a clear mandate in favor of the Congress party, not just in Rajasthan, but all the 3 states. So yes, I'm very satisfied with the result, because 5 years ago, the BJP had 165 MLAs. They've lost almost 100 of their seats, and the Congress party was at 21. So we've come up beyond the halfway mark. It's very satisfying. The workers and the party leaders deserve to be given credit. And it's a victory of the people of Rajasthan. They voted for change, they voted for development, and they voted for anti-hate politics. They voted for the kind of politics that the BJP did not present to them. So yes, I'm satisfied.
Do you have a plan to implement right now, or are you going to have to get straight into campaigning mode for the 2019 elections, because voters want action right now? Are you ready for that, or is it you're going to still have to think about it? And if you do, what is the plan?
The plan, I think, is very clear. Once we get the chance to form the government, we will implement what we promised in the manifesto. And the agrarian distress, the farmers' issues are #1 priority for us. And of course, as Mr. Gandhi pointed out today also, young people getting jobs and opportunities, it's, I think, the most important issue that people of India are facing, especially youngsters. And Rajasthan, I think, is a state where a lot of attention needs to be given to job creation and to create an ecosystem where young people are able to deploy their energies in a very fruitful fashion.
So that's the objective. How will you do it? How are you going to give young people jobs? And how are you going to remove farmer distress? Are you going to do in 10 days you're going to waive farm loans?
There are 2-3 things. One is there's a lot of backlog and government vacancies that have not been fulfilled for various reasons. Second is that in the private sector, government of Rajasthan has been wooing all these multinational companies around the world, which is fine. But those companies come purely to make sheer profit. the small and medium scale industries of people of Rajasthan who are entrepreneurs all over India, in Bangalore, in Calcutta, in Chennai, but they don't do the same stuff here in Rajasthan. If we were to handhold and give them a positive ecosystem, I'm sure for the love of the land, they'll be able to do a lot more and give more employment. The third thing I feel is that the diplomas and degrees we offer is not matching with the requirements of the corporate sector. There has to be a meeting of minds between the academic institutions and the corporate world and the business world, because they must give the curriculum and syllabus that gives young people a job to get employed. Giving degrees and diplomas doesn't make them employable. So I think that meeting of minds is very important. But I'm sure if the atmosphere is positive, if there is no mob lynching and cow vigilantism and a positivity around the state of Rajasthan, people will come and generate employment like never before.
Right. Sachin, hi, Vasu here, Sreenivasan Jain, congratulations also from me, in fact from all of us on the panel. But just wanted to ask you, just coming back for a second to the results, were you surprised a bit, Sachin, because, all the sort of predictions, the sense was that this was going to be a much more comprehensive win than it's actually turned out.
Well, I think a win is a very clear win. There are no ifs and buts about it. But don't forget, like I said, where the BJP was 5 years ago. And don't also forget that they have all, Lok Sabha seats they were won by BJP in the last elections. So Government of India, state government, various chief ministers, union ministers, machinery, bureaucracy, money, power, they threw everything they had in this election, tried to polarize it very dramatically. But all of that didn't work. People rejected that. And the Congress party, I think, has done remarkably well. We were at 21 MLAs 5 years ago. Today, we are above the halfway mark. So it's a clear mandate for change, and the Congress has been given a very clear mandate to form a government. So I'm very satisfied and happy with how we performed.
But Sachin, I just want to ask you, I'm not going to try and ask you the whole CM question because I know the answer you'll throw back at me. But can I just ask you this, that there is one reading which says that in a tighter kind of win like this, you're just about 101, actually someone like Mr. Gehlot has more of a chance. He has the experience to sort of try to cobble together numbers similar to, what happened in 2008. Would you at least contest that? Would you say that the numbers really, that's not a factor, youth over experience, that really, that's not an issue right now.
You're breaking up, but I'm getting the gist of what you're saying. We are meeting tomorrow, the elected MLAs, and together with the MLAs and the Congress party, we'll decide as to who does what job for the party and for the government. It happens every 5 years whenever we win the election, so it's nothing new. But I think all of us have worked together, and that's the reason why we are in a majority today. The credit goes to everybody. As party president for 5 years, I've had the great privilege of getting support and cooperation of all leaders and workers in the state. And it gives me some satisfaction that from where we were and where we are today, with everyone's effort, we've been able to outperform the BJP and beat them despite everything that they tried to do. So who gets what job and who gets to lead the government, that decision will be taken tomorrow.
Sachin, politics in our country happens to be a profession of much older people, generally old people. One in your party, particularly in Rajasthan, because there are two key leaders, you and Mr. Gehlot. How do you deal with generation gap? And second, given the fact that farm distress now seems to be chronic.
How do I go with what? Sorry?
The generation gap.
How do you handle the generation gap between you and the older generation represented by Mr. Gehlot?
Let him do one at a time because I think the audio is a bit of a problem.
Let me make it very clear. There are no gaps. Either age gaps, mind gaps, working gaps. We've all worked together, and 18, 19 years in public life, we've all learned to live with people with different experiences, different age groups, and that's the beauty of our Congress party, that we can all work collectively together. So there are no gaps whatsoever, no matter what propaganda BJP puts in place. We work together, we work unitedly, and I think what really bothered the BJP was that how come we are all working together? Why are we not fighting away and having cold wars between Vasundhara ji and Amit Shah ji that they had? So we have actually had no issues working with each other. In fact, I think we draw strength from each other. There are some things that someone else is better at, some things perhaps I may be better at. So we try and combine our energies, and that's what the party needs today.
Sachin Pilot, you're in deep trouble because Mr. Farooq Abdullah wants to question you. Now you're in trouble.
Sachin.
Third degree.
Third degree.
First of all, congratulations to all of you.
Yes.
What we are going to look to, what will depend on tomorrow, 2019, is how you people perform and how you fulfill promise. Remember, 6 months is not too far. I hope you will do what you say you are going to do. Because on you, the nation is looking. And therefore, don't beat the drums of victory as yet. But the work is hard. And remain united.
Very good point. I think.
Good advice.
It's just, Farooq Sahab.
What is your answer?
I think work is only half done. The real challenge will come 4 months later. And I can tell you, the party and all of us in Rajasthan are fully prepared to give BJP a well-deserved defeat in the Lok Sabha elections in 2019.
Good.
Sachin, just one question as a sort of follow-up to what Shekhar asked you. That look, again, you're going to say MLAs will decide. All of that is fine, but don't you think it's time for us to see generation change in the Congress? I mean, it's just, whether it's Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, wherever. You guys have been on the ground, you've fought hard, you've built the party from positions of weaknesses. Do you think overall it's time to see that shift?
Look, I think it's requirement based. Who can do what job at what particular time? It's a decision of the party. I don't think it's correct to say that they should be pushing for a change or to not accept a change. It depends on circumstances. The decision is open. The party will decide. The MLAs are meeting tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, and all of us will take a collective view. One thing I can tell you is that whatever decision happens will be happening with full consensus and with everybody on board. And that's the strength and the unity and the beauty of our Congress party.
Sreenivasan, you made a point about change, and I just want to interject here. I think one of the singular contribution of Rahul Gandhi has been that he's been able to have both the younger guard and the older guard on the same plane. And let me just say, while change is the law of life, and as Shakespeare said, the old order changeth, yielding place to the new. The fact is that democratic politics is a function of continuity. It is not a function of disruption. I remember when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi got the largest ever mandate Congress had got, he was advised to just change the party into a young party, and he was cautioned against it. So therefore, I think that
if I just ask, your party has a whole host of very good young leaders. But it seems to me that still the same old guard dominates press conferences, still is the face of the party. Why hasn't that change happened? It's happening all over the world, young people. It's happening at NDTV. Why can't it happen at the Congress party?
Right, well, let me reserve.
Sorry, shouldn't have brought that in.
It's already there. All the young ones are spokespersons.
Why hasn't the young faces of the Congress party being given more prominence and more responsibility?
Sachin, this is to you.
Yeah.
Are you asking me? Sorry?
Yes, please.
Yes, Sachin, yes.
Yeah.
He says, what is the question?
Oh, the question.
Sorry. I really can't hear at all.
When are you going to get the young people in? That's the question.
When are you going to have a Margdarshak Mandal?
Right.
Yes. When are the young people going to come in?
Well, there's one young man sitting right in front of you.
No, that is the young man.
Yeah.
There should be many more.
Many more.
Sachin, can you hear us? Sachin, hi, this is Sreenivasan from the Delhi studio.
I think the Congress party, I think Dr. Roy, Congress party has always promoted young people.
Where?
At a lower level.
Where?
I became a member of parliament when I was 26. I've been a member in the union cabinet. There are others who have been given party assignments all over the country. The change happens at a certain pace. It's inevitable. But I think we must also carry everyone together. And that's the attempt that Mr. Gandhi is doing, to carry all age groups together, because they have a lot to offer. People who have worked 20, 30, 40 years in the party have a lot of wisdom and experience. We must tap into that and make the best use of those experiences and then channelize our energies. So it has to be a symbiotic relationship.
Right. Sachin, just
Farooq Abdullah, symbiotic.
Yes.
But
I see. But it's important. I also believe that you have to blend the old and the young. But you have to give younger people more chances.
Prominence, because you want change. This
Yes,
country wants
the change will only come then. And while the old people are there, if they make a mistake, there is a possibility of correcting them.
And you, of course,
and that is what is
both as a
important.
political figure
That's
and
what I
as
did in
family,
Kashmir.
because Sachin is
got a young person
family.
and gave him full authority.
Yes.
One day I may become old one day, but Dr. Abdullah will never become old at any point.
That I agree with you.
Yeah,
That I agree with you.
That's now flattering your, But Sachin, just one question though, that would you at least give some credit to Vasundhara Raje? I mean, she did fight hard, she fought like a lion or a lioness. Would you at least give her some credit?
I think Mr. Rahul Gandhi gave credit to all the outgoing chief ministers, and that's the magnanimity with which every politician should work. We have defeated the BJP, but we have no hatred, we have no anger, we have no revenge-seeking sense in ourselves. We believe everybody played the role. We best look forward, not turn back, and whatever anyone's contributed, appreciate that and move on. This bitch hunting and eradicating the opposition and muzzling the voice of people who oppose you is not what Congress party does. Anybody who's been elected MP, MLA, CM or whatever position deserves to be acknowledged as such. And I've always said Vasundhara ji is a chief minister. She's older to me. She's a woman. I respect her for that. But when a government does something that's anti-people, I did and I will speak up against that. And I did that for 5 years without lowering the level of our debates and discourse. So individual respect is always there for opponents. But politically, truth needs to be told. And people's rights have to be fought for.
Sachin Pilot, thank you very much for joining us. Many congratulations, and just a warning.
Thanks very much.
Mr. Farooq Abdullah and I will be watching you with hawk
And I
eyes.
particularly will watch that they will not be as vindictive as this government has been. What I want to see in India is end of vindictiveness.
Maturity.
It should be free
Farooq
and
sahab,
open.
We've had vindictive governments before. On that scale, where will you put this one?
I think what I say, what must have been in the past, we want to see a new India. It's a beginning of new India. A new India where there is no vindictiveness at all. That is how India will move.
I just want to say
One
one word.
I've just joined by Chari. Chari, you just missed a very strong statement which Farooq Abdullah made, and I would like your reaction to it. And if I paraphrase what you said, he said for 4 years, nobody talked about the mandir. Now 6 months to go and God suddenly is brought out, and in a form of hatred. Is that something that your party or your party you support, the BJP, should have done? Isn't it? What Farooq Abdullah is asking is, why is this happening to India?
Yeah, you're asking me?
Yes, Chari, yes.
No, see, Ram Mandir issue has no connection with these 3 elections which just took place. Besides that, the government is seized of the issue, the courts are seized of the issue, and I don't think Ram Mandir either is going to be an election issue. It was not an election issue in 2004, it was not an issue in 2009, it was not an issue in 2014, and it is not an issue in 2018 assembly elections. So I don't think this is a very relevant point to be discussed now.
Mr. Farooq Abdullah, he says not relevant.
I'm sorry. I don't agree with him. The UP Chief Minister went everywhere And the only thing he talked about was Ram Mandir.
There was also a rally in Delhi where Supreme Court was attacked
now
for
tell
not
me,
taking
is
it
it
up
not
on
an election
priority.
issue? How does he say that it was not an election issue?
Also, the Prime Minister said that Congress.
Let him
No,
respond.
you
Let him
can't,
intimidating
you
the
can't
judges.
have, you cannot stop anybody from holding a rally.
It is not the rally only, but in the election.
No, but
This
Mr.
is one
Chari-
thing which I have always wanted, that no religion must be used when you are fighting for election. Tomorrow Muslims will say Allah, and that is not the thing.
That's not about
Today
an
we
election.
should talk what we are going to do, not God. He doesn't want my vote. Yes.
Saying Farooq Saab, people like you and Mr. Owaisi, if you want to bring Ram Mandir into the election arena, you can do it.
I have never bought. I have never bought. I have never bought a Ram Mandir in an issue. Never. Never.
That's not true. That's
Don't blame me for that.
Never.
I have never blamed, never said about Ram Mandir. It's an issue
why
which is
create
religious
that
issue. I agree it's a religious issue.
Then why raise
It's a
that issue at
sentimental
all?
issue. But
It is
don't
not an
use
election
it in
issue.
election.
2018, who spoke about it?
Everywhere your Chief Minister of UP, openly, in all the places.
The BJP has made
And
it
after
very
all,
clear
he
right
is
from
a
the
senior
beginning
member of
that it is
BJP.
subjudice.
You can't charge me on that.
That's not fair. Mr. Chari, if you'll
Fine,
permit,
no what?
if you'll permit
I've
me
been
to say, if you'll permit me to say, whether
One
it is
second,
Yogi.
let him answer. Farooq Abdullah, 1 second.
Ji,
go ahead. Chari, go ahead and answer Farooq Abdullah. He says your UP Chief Minister.
No, what was
went-
Farooq Saab saying?
Sorry?
Farooq Saab was saying, Seshadri Chari, that Yogi Adityanath has gone across these 5 states, held multiple rallies where he's brought up Mandir again and again. So it's wrong to say that the BJP has not made it an election issue.
They tried to, yes.
It has been raised by Yogi Adityanath again and again. So how can you say it's not an election issue by the BJP?
Fine. So, but was it an issue as far as the state elections are concerned? Are the state governments responsible for construction of the mandir? Yogi Adityanath.
Okay,
as Chief
Chari,
Minister of
sorry,
UP,
we do have to interrupt.
is
We've got Arun
directly
Jaitley
seized of
speaking on this election. Cross to Arun Jaitley.
And we did notice that in the course of the election. Particularly the campaigns also were relatively more subdued. Madhya Pradesh, the final jury is still not out because it looks like almost a dead heat, and we'll wait for the last vote to be counted to realize which way the government formation goes. We've of course got a few seats in Madhya Pradesh less than what we had expected. Chhattisgarh was also expected to be a tough fight, but we had not anticipated that the gap will be so large. About Rajasthan, initially people had predicted that we'll be completely way behind, but we've come back in a big way, and we've done exceedingly well. Now, if you have a analysis of the 2 big states of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, we are a fraction of a vote ahead in Madhya Pradesh in popular vote, and only a fraction of a vote behind in Rajasthan. And therefore, after being in power for a long period of time, after also being in power of at the central government, in terms of popular vote, we've done reasonably well. Certainly, we could have done much better. But I think it's time for us, as I said, to pause and introspect. And I'm quite determined that both the leadership of my party and the cadres will have an honest analysis, and we are determined in these 2 states to further improve our positions. In fact, even a marginal improvement in these 2 states can see the curve turning the other way.
Okay. So in our way we say whenever so in a way we say whenever Congress loses, we say it's because of the Rahul Gandhi's leadership, and so just
You see, no election depends on an individual. An election is a combination of several factors. You have the government of the NDA at the center, you have a BJP government in the state, you have opposition contesting, whether it's an anti-incumbency or it's the state leadership or it's a fatigue factor. There are several other factors. I don't think anybody should mislead himself by an erroneous analysis of saying that the victory or the defeat is just because of one person.
Sir, people including Mamata Banerjee saying this is a reflection of 2019 election.
Well, let me tell you, the issues in a state election are entirely different. We won all these three states in 2003 December, and we lost the general election in 2004. So therefore, it really doesn't get an automatic translation. The 2019 election will be an election around the performance of the central government and the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The election issue really will be, do we want a tried and tested leadership and a government in place, or do we want some kind of an unstable, non-ideological coalition which is bound to splinter away sooner than later?
Arun Jaitley. Sorry?
Let's ask Gurujit Patel about the sound governance.
Right, I think he's already spoken on that. Rakesh Sinha, good to have you here. I think you missed what Farooq Abdullah said. So why don't you reiterate your position, which you said when he wasn't here, about the mandir and God coming in the last two Rakesh?
What? No.
You heard it. Yeah.
I heard his statement, but before that I have one remark.
Please.
You know, this election, BJP has already predicted the inevitability of anti-incumbency. Therefore, it was in calculation that BJP will face bad weather in Rajasthan, but not Madhya Pradesh as it has faced. Therefore, considering that this is a rejection of BJP or ideology of BJP or Narendra Modi, is a delusion of the opposition parties. Because state elections are fought on several issues. 15 years the government was there. In Rajasthan, there is an additional problem of governance. That party has accepted this fact. But here, you know, credit
Rajasthan had a problem of governance.
Also some kind of governance. That was a reason. After all, the party was defeated after 5 years. But you know, in Rajasthan, it was expected that BJP would not cross more than 40 seats. But it has crossed substantially. This shows that Narendra Modi is the only Prime Minister in the post-independent India who has capacity to minimize the anti-incumbency factor in the state elections. He has minimized the anti-incumbency factor both in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. That is one of the gain which opposition parties should accept, because this is not the rejection of BJP. This is a critical suggestion to the BJP to reform something at the state level. And I think BJP has accepted, Arun Jaitley ji has rightly said that we are going to deliberate everything.
Now you've said that, now answer Mr.
No, I'm answering of Farooq Abdullah. You know, the Ram Janmabhoomi issue has never been the plank of election. It is the non-BJP parties which oppose the Ram Janmabhoomi, and that becomes the election issue. This is the agenda of the Dharma Sansad of Hindu society. And Dharma Sansad, RSS is one of the big stakeholders in the Dharma Sansad. So now we have changed the plank. The plank has been changed once the court has said that it is not in its priority. Our demand were not that we don't have faith on court. We have umpteen faith on court. That's why we demanded that there should be day-to-day hearing. We have not said that we are not believing court.
But Rakesh,
we have no. Just I'm answering. Yeah. So now the plank has changed from court to parliament. The RSS and the Sangha Parivar and general Hindus are demanding that it is the parliament which should enact the law or have an ordinance by the government, because on Somnath temple we are comparing the Ram Janmabhoomi issue to the Somnath temple.
But Rakesh, sorry, I understand. You know, we know the history, but he's making a simple point. He's saying it's an election issue. Yogi Adityanath goes everywhere just saying Mandir, Mandir, Mandir.
You know,
Yogi made it into an election issue. No, I think Farooq Abdullah wants to.
One thing I'd like to ask you. Today, yesterday when the leaders met, everybody said Parliament must work. Now we find that the very party, that is Shiv Sena and your RSS and others members of likewise, don't want the Parliament to function. From tomorrow, you will start all sorts of hula-ha there. then where is the parliament going to function for your deciding Ram temple there?
No, there is no dispute that parliament should function. But it's since 12th we will see who is stopping parliament, who is disrupting the parliament. That is the matter of 24 hours we can see.
You will see.
It is not the BJP and Shiv Sena. I know that who would disrupt the parliament. They would bring a lot of issues like CBI, Jammu Kashmir issue. I know that how opposition is planning. I'm answering
just one last thing. One last very simple
before
question.
you answer. So one more thing I'd like to say. Now why? 4.5 years you have been in government. 4.5 years. Why is it when the election is near that do you raise, whether in the Supreme Court, whether in the public meetings that your leaders are holding, why is it Ram temple not raised as soon as you won the elections?
You know,
why did you stop in this 4.5 years?
We have faith on court, and we waited till the court said. But you know, when Deepak Misra was Chief Justice, what kind of all sorts of perceptions and the institutionalized perception by the opposition party that Deepak Misra is going to give verdict on Ram Janmabhoomi issue. For the first time, the Chief Justice was brought into dock. By the who brought? People like you and the opposition party.
Rakesh,
second,
just one thing, I must give full disclosure. You have brought a private member bill to build the Ram temple.
Yeah.
No, I proposed private, you know, why did I propose? In parliamentary democracy everywhere except India, there is a critical importance of the private member bill.
But what happened to Vikas?
No,
is this your most important
thing? I'm coming. No, in Ram and Roti both are important. We are not hampering the Vikas. Narendra Modi's Jan Dhan Yojana, inclusive financial inclusion is unprecedented in this country. The millions of people who have never seen the door of the bank, they are the part of the banks.
But
you know Ujjwala Yojana.
One second. Constitutionally, you're an MP now.
Let me complete one sentence.
I know, I've understood
Ujjwala Yojana. Do you know the impact of Ujjwala Yojana? Do you know the importance
we're not on Ujjwala at the moment.
Make in India? Do you know the importance of
the startup? Can I just ask you, sir, as an MP, you've taken an oath, you've sworn on the Constitution. The Constitution clearly makes a distinction between church and state.
Yes.
Once you become part of Parliament, once you become part of government, you cannot side with any religion. But when you bring bills for mandir and so on and talk about it and talk it up as a government, as an MP, that's actually violating the constitutional.
Then you have to condemn Dr. Rajendra Prasad, his speech that when he was going to inaugurate the Somnath temple, and Jawaharlal Nehru wrote letters to all the chief minister of the Hindustan that he has giving the injuries to India because he was inaugurating a temple. It was not a question of temple. Sreenivasan Jain, it is between the Indians and the aggressors. And Mohan Bhagwat ji categorically said that this is not the binary between Hindus and Muslims, this is between Indians and the aggressors.
Sudhindra,
black spot on India by the Babar.
One of the things, you know, he's making a strong point, but I think what not being answered, and we're not getting even from Chari, is the violence in those speeches. It's not just religion, it's hatred, it's inciting. That's not India. And to bring that up 6 months before an election is, I can't use the word for it, a shocker. That's the most mild. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm one of those who has consistently been saying that there should be a Ram Mandir at Ayodhya. And the sentiments of large sections of the Hindu society should be respected. But to do this, taking a coercive, in fact a violent path is un-Hindu, anti-Hindu, and that is precisely what is being done now. And in some way the ruling party is putting itself ahead of the nation. They say nation first, party next. Now it is party first, nation next, because if there is a division, polarization of our society on religious lines, it is going to hurt our nation enormously.
Civil war.
What the ruling party should have done is create an atmosphere of mutual trust, mutual dialogue. Also listen to and care for the legitimate concerns and interests of the Muslim community. That is not what they did. That's not what Yogi Adityanath is doing.
Can I just ask a question to
Sabka Saath has remained a slogan. In reality, it is alienation of a very large section of Indian people against the constitution.
I just want to ask you, you have brought this Mandir Mudda center stage. You're going hell for leather with this, with the Mandir issue into the elections. Yogi Adityanath is bringing it up in every speech and every campaign rally. But in spite of all this, you haven't really reaped any major electoral gains in this election. So what learning are you taking away from the result you've got in these elections about the Ram Mandir issue? Because you're not exactly, you've not gained. I mean, you've done polarization, you've done Ram Mandir.
Your question carried dichotomies. You say that this is an election issue and you are not getting any
because you were using it as an election issue.
No BJP leader asked the electorate to vote, because if you won't vote, then BJP would not be possible to reconstruct the Ram temple. You know, Ram temple is a matter of faith for BJP and RSS.
No, but this is a vote against it's a vote against the Ram Mandir.
We have
Ram Mandir is not working.
No, Ram Mandir is not working. We don't want
working as an election issue.
We don't want that it should work as an election issue. We want that it is a cultural issue.
So will you bury it now?
It is a cultural issue. No, Ram temple would be reconstructed at that place. No other things will be reconstructed, because it is a matter of faith. It is a democratic cultural demand of the Hindus, and Hindus mean
What's
that,
your response to that?
It is not against the Muslims.
Well, I think
Rakesh Sinha is trying to say Ram Mandir without violence, but we see most of the people who are saying it is Ram Mandir with violence. That's a slight difference.
Prannoy, I think I've been listening to this debate for a few minutes now, and I think it's comical now to suggest that the BJP all these years and all these months immediately preceding the elections has not tried to polarize the Indian society on the basis of Ram temple. It was a general consensus in this country, I think, to which at some point of time even the BJP agreed, that this contentious matter is best left to the judgment of the Supreme Court, unless of course there is a broad consensus on the issue in the country, and which is not there. Having failed to find that consensus, having failed to work for that consensus, they are not prepared to wait even for the Supreme Court judgment, and now a private member's bill has been brought only with a view to keeping the attention of the people alive on this issue, not for the purpose of ensuring the construction of the temple. It cannot be done by rushing through in a legislation by a party that has just been decimated in the states, which is most likely to lose in the 2019. It can't be done by law. It can only be done either by consensus or by a Supreme Court judgment. But one of the issues that I think must be uppermost in any discussion on the state of the nation and on the future way forward is, are we going to stand firm and true to the first principles of a secular constitution? That is the first thing. The second, and this is something I feel very strongly about, and I want 1 minute. Dr. Abdullah raised the question of vendetta, and he said he advised our governments to be that there should be no vendetta, rightly so. And I think one of the issues on which I as a citizen fault this government the most is because in the history of independent India, the largest number of political persecutions have been launched by this government. Never before in the history of India were political opponents coerced, intimidated and pressurized through reckless litigation.
I'm not sure whether it's this government, one second. I'm not sure whether it's this government or it's a trend, but it has been described to me by international academics as the Pakistanization of India. Why? When I went to Pakistan, I would interview, say, Musharraf or whoever. You go to their houses, all the presidents' pictures are meant to be there. Only one, the current one. They take down all the others, they file cases against them. That's the vendetta which is creeping, and I'm not only blaming the BJP, it's a tendency in India, and that needs to stop. Is that right?
Sir, anti-corruption drive is not a vendetta. You just see one political leader who has been prosecuted.
95%
no,
of
sir,
corruption
give me one example.
Is non-BJP. Not a single BJP person is corrupt.
It's not a question. It's not a question of BJP, non-BJP.
All political opponents.
You can blame BJP that it is discriminating between the corrupts. But you can't say that those who have been prosecuted, they are honest people, they are the दूध के धोए हुए हैं, उनको बीजेपी ने सजा दी है.
You accept that it's one-sided.
What are you saying is one-sided?
But you don't accept it's one-sided.
No, this is
there are a lot of BJP supporters who are not.
Corruption derived by Narendra Modi at the cost. No, sir, it is anti-corruption derived, which you can't tolerate.
There's something known as malicious prosecution.
Second thing, you raise the question of secular.
Known as malicious prosecution.
Mr. Sunil Kumar, you have to also answer why Rahul Gandhi is visiting temple during the election. Why he is showing genuine?
What is so wrong?
Why he is no? This is not
What is
wrong.
so wrong?
Why
you go to temple? It is okay. If he goes to temple,
why
it is
not
wrong.
he is calling Firoz Gandhi? He's showing.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. This is absolutely wrong. Absolutely unfair.
Why?
It is absolutely
This dynasty.
Absolutely wrong.
Why not? Why not?
This is lowering the level of debate to a point which is not acceptable.
You are questioning Narendra
Where
Modi.
is the
You are
question?
questioning
Just a second.
We'll take a short ad break.
His family, his parents.
Rakesh,
And you are
This is absolutely ridiculous.
Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, they have lowered the debate.
Okay, Rakesh, can
they
I ask
are
you-
lowering the debate for the last 5 6 years.
Relax. Rakesh, relax. Can I just ask you a simple question? On Sunday, there was this big gathering in Delhi, Dharm Sansad, organized by the VHP, RSS, everyone together in Delhi, in the heart of the capital. After it was over, as crowds were leaving, walking back, videos online went viral of these groups, Hindutva groups, walking through Muslim areas, saying, "Ek dhakka aur do, Jama Masjid tod do." Okay, in the middle of Delhi.
Do you disapprove of that?
No, we always disapprove such slogans.
You condemn that?
You condemn it? Yes, no,
Fine,
no
fine.
demolition of Jama Masjid. Jama Masjid is one of our heritage. So no question.
But there was no official.
I love how we have to say no action.
No action.
There was no official.
One second, Swati.
There was no official condemnation of that from the RSS.
You don't grill me. Let me complete.
Yeah, finish.
You don't
Complete.
You are an anchor, so you should be a little bit objective.
Complete.
So
I'm
why
very
I say, you know, you don't mix the Ram Janmabhoomi issue with other temple issue. Ram Janmabhoomi is a Somnath temple issue. If you are condemning Ram Janmabhoomi issue, then you have to condemn Dr.
I think you made your point.
N.V. Gadgil. You have to condemn Kanhaiya Lal
Now let
Mandla.
somebody else speak. Now let somebody else speak.
He's saying he condemned this. Why was not a single person who was going around indulging in incitement, saying "Ek dhakka aur do, Jama Masjid tod do" arrested? There are videos of those people.
I think the question is, why isn't one of your leaders saying this is wrong? You see cow lynching, no reaction. You see the worst form of violence and there's no condemnation.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi condemned the cow lynching.
Excuse me.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi condemned.
When?
Mohan Bhagwat ji condemned that we have nothing to do with violence.
Condemned, he
And
said
no,
it in a
law
very
is
mild
taking.
way,
You
no,
tell me one case. You tell me one.
Anti-social elements.
Anyway,
Anyway,
sir, you condemn it. You condemn
No,
it.
you tell me one case where lynching took place and the state has not taken action. Tell me one case.
But
Be
you had your
empirical.
Minister Garland
Don't
doing
be
the
negative
lecture.
and normative.
You were Minister
Rajasthan.
Garlands on the people.
Old way of condemning.
I think it's fine.
BJP, RSS,
You have condemned it.
Not going to
Sir,
work.
you condemn it?
Yes, I condemn mob lynching. Mohan Bhagwat ji has condemned. Narendra Modi ji has condemned. Everybody in party.
That's all we need to know. You condemn it. Just say it a bit louder in future in public.
And arrest those people.
And don't arrest the wrong people.
Yeah.
But Yogi Adityanath, by the way, in the context of what happened in Bulandshahr, said that was not a lynching. He said it was an accident.
It was an accident.
Yeah, those sort of things are just like,
But
you condemn that also.
Report of the police, so he just spoke the report of the police. A state chief minister has to speak what DGP reports. A state chief minister is not an investigator. It is a democratic country, Sreenivasan Jain. It is not a monarchy.
But you know,
that you get
the
chief ministers to
DGP
do
report,
what-
no one said it was an accident.
Democracy
He
to
said it was
incite
an
violence.
It took him 3 days to say anything about.
So,
Let me
because
tell you.
investigation-
I have
One
also been
second.
chief minister.
No, let him
I have also been chief minister. I think the first duty of the chief minister is to protect
Absolutely.
anybody who is there. Anybody. That is the duty of the chief minister. And if the chief minister fails, and I think it's a failure of the chief minister and he must go.
No, he didn't fail. It was a larger conspiracy which was
telling
pointed
you.
out.
Look,
They were. And
Look,
the
we are all-
conspiracy by the forces,
Rakesh, I have
both
no
the national and
difficulties with
international
you.
forces, as
Rakesh.
Prannoy Roy was rightly pointed out,
Arey, idhar
that
ko bhi to
some
dekho.
people, some academics were telling that
Hum to-
it was Pakistanization. So this is a coalition
ji,
between the national
Now,
intellectuals.
dekhiye,
No, let me
Rakesh,
answer his
Rakesh,
question.
मेरे
He
से
raised
बात
a very
करो। Rakesh,
Rakesh, Farooq sir.
राकेश हमसे ये कहा जाता पाकिस्तान से आता है अरे यार हम कितनी दफा तुम्हें दिखाएं कि हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं मुसलमान
आपको
हैं
किसने कहा?
हम मुसलमान हैं
किसने कहा?
आपके लोगों ने कहा
नहीं सबको हमारे लोग
It
कैसे
was
कहते
made.
हैं? You want 125 crore people.
I'll tell you, Ram
All
Madhav
are
ji,
not
I'm
the
naming him.
BJP people.
Ram Madhav ji
Has
did
any
say.
BJP leader said you? Has any BJP leader?
Ram Madhav.
Ram Madhav kya hai?
Told you as
What
a
is Ram
Pakistani?
Madhav?
Told you as a Pakistani?
Yes.
No, no,
that,
he didn't. He
that
never
the
said
directions
that.
are coming
Ram
from
Madhav is a
Pakistan.
very responsible leader.
He had to withdraw the statement when we shouted about
Ram
it.
Madhav, everybody knows that Ram Madhav is very articulate, very responsible leader.
Anyway,
He never
you
said
condemn
that.
it. You condemn anybody saying
No,
Pakistan.
I consider nobody should say anybody go Pakistan, Pakistani ho. We all are Indians. We differ your perspective.
तो फिर हमारे
And it is
लिए बचाव
democratic
करो
Right,
ना.
that's all we want to hear.
One
And
line,
save
one line,
us.
one line.
One line, sir.
One line, sir, yes.
Yes, one
You know what contribution of Narendra Modi ji? Earlier the institutions were under the grab of the elites. He made the institution under the
Please, this is the usual Hinduism.
no,
No,
let
one
me-
second.
popular control of the popular control. That is, he connected the institution like Prime Minister office.
Okay,
with the
that's
common
one
people.
sentence. One
Common
sentence.
people.
You have condemned all this. You've condemned anybody using religion for hatred,
Yes.
for violence. You condemn
Wait,
all that,
entire RSS condemns that.
and you condemn therefore Aditya Yoginath.
No, not that. Yogi Adityanath. has
Okay,
done
let's just
nothing
quick,
which
quick
I-
I just
one
want to say
sentence summary.
One sentence. I just think in
One
the light
sentence
of,
summary from
I
everybody.
think in the light of these results, going forward, Ram Mandir as an issue will not work.
Kumar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Quick summary
it will
of
not
today.
work. It will not work. It worked sometime before. That doesn't mean it will work always. People are fed up with that issue.
That's what we've learned from today.
Yeah.
That
I
we have
think so.
learnt actually before, but they are going to learn it today. And moreover, one point which I forgot to mention was earlier
Not
you asked
allowed
me
now.
what was the change. The change was exactly by Dr. Farooq Abdullah said that the perceptions have changed, change of the mood, and that attraction is towards the Congress. This is the change in this election.
तो हिंदी में कहा जाता है फिजा बदल रही है. The mood of the nation is changing because of today's results. How fast it will change, how much it will change before 2019 is it cannot be predicted, but certainly it is changing. And not just the results. We did not pay enough attention in this debate to Rahul Gandhi's press conference. He really came across as a very humble person, one who is willing to learn, and also one who has the grasp of the real questions affecting the majority of the people.
Rakesh,
And
Sinha,
he said-
this is somebody who worked closely with Mr. Vajpayee, who was
and
a
he
man
said-
of not hatred.
I think there is no parallel of Narendra Modi being a humble
The-
person, and
you know,
he
the
belongs
contrast-
to
no,
the
no,
contrast-
no,
yes,
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. You can say that.
No, collectively.
This is your one sentence, and you,
Yes, he's the most
what have you
humble
learned
person
from
that India
today's
has got as a
election?
leader.
What have you learned from today's election? One sentence.
This is a lesson for the BJP to some reform at the state level, both at the level of leadership, at the governance, and the connectivity between the people, workers, and the government.
Okay, fine.
Congratulations.
The only thing that we learn in the VHP is now a new slogan which says Mandir wahi banayenge, taarikh nahi batayenge, because the BJP keeps using it as an election issue again and again and again, and I think that should end.
Well, as
You're
far
the
as I'm
last word.
concerned-
You're the last word. Wait a minute. The youngster first.
I think that the politics of religious polarization are so embedded in the current mode of BJP RSS thinking that they will, under pressure, they will always resort to it, and we should expect this in the coming months.
And will it work?
Hopefully not. I don't think it will work, but it will exact a price.
Right. Sir, last word with you, and then we'll close.
As far
it.
as I see, there is a move towards secular India. That is what people want.
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody, whether it's Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, anybody who is Indian, he wants to see that religion is my own. As far as nation is concerned, we are all one.
Positive.
Yes.
That is what they
Not
want.
Farooq Sahab, just one amendment.
And I hope you also work towards that. I hope you also work towards
Mood
that.
is for positive secularism, not
Yes.
pseudo secularism.
I hope you work for that.
Why you
Positive
pseudo
secularism, fine.
difference?
Gosh, learned a lot from this election, and it's going to keep unfolding because, again, remember, as we said at the beginning, many of the seats have very narrow margins, so those are not the final results. Keep watching because Vasu is going to take you into much greater depth than we've been so far.
What a hard sell.
Thank
So
you for
everybody
watching.
please wait because we're going to keep going.
In depth.
Right. All right. Thanks very
Thanks
much.
a lot.
Thank you.
This is a clear message to the Prime Minister and to the BJP that the country is not happy with what they're doing. Opposition बहुत strongly united है, uniformly united है और एक साथ लड़ेगी.
5 years ago, the BJP had 165 MLAs. They've lost almost 100 of their seats, and the Congress party was at 21. So we've come up beyond the halfway mark. It's very satisfying.
मैं सब प्रदेशवासियों का आभार जताना चाहती हूँ जिन्होंने परिवार अपने आप को समझकर हम सबका साथ दिया।
सरकार कांग्रेस की बनेगी, निश्चिंत रहिएगा आप। We are going to just full majority, no question about it.
Politics is all about performing, otherwise you are out, and KCR Garu understands that.
We are going to play a very crucial role in the national politics.
यह चुनाव मेरे नेतृत्व में लड़ा गया था, इसलिए इस हार की नैतिक जवाबदारी मैं स्वयं लेता हूं।
हमारे बीच में कोई गुटबाजी नहीं रही जी। वहाँ जो गुटबाजी करने वाले थे योगी जी, वो पहले ही पार्टी छोड़ गए थे।
The first file that the Congress party government will sign, I am sure it will be a loan waiver issue.
My priority is development of the poor by using my socio-economic development program.
It's time for us, as I said, to pause and introspect. And I'm quite determined that both the leadership of my party and the cadres will have an honest analysis.
The mood of the nation has changed. Let's not forget that. Mood has changed. Whether now the opposition will work on that mood is the most important factor, and it starts now.
Countdown starting. It is the beginning of the end.